Have you ever refused to fix a disaster because your boss told you not to overstep? When I started working for this private care company, I honestly thought my mixed background would be useful. Before this job, I worked for the state doing the same kind of care work until I moved into an IT role. Before that, I was an EMT. And before all of that, I was in the army. I knew how to document things properly, follow protocols, and protect myself. None of that mattered to my boss, at least not until she backed herself into a corner. One afternoon, one of our clients came back from a day trip looking rough. They were sunburned, unsteady, confused, and staff said they had even passed out. To me, that was obvious heat exhaustion. I wrote exactly what I saw on the official state form. The condition the client returned in, that staff reported the fainting episode, and that I notified the RN and the state office because this could count as neglect. It was standard reporting. The RN came in the next day, checked the client, and agreed with my notes. But she didn't read the report itself for almost a week. So when state auditors walked in and saw the form before she did, they immediately called it out. 9 days later, our boss held what she labeled an emergency company meeting. She handed out printed sheets telling every staff member that we were not to act outside our job descriptions, and we are not medical professionals. While saying this, she stared directly at me the entire time. Then she called me out by name in front of everyone. All right, message received. From that moment, I only did the exact tasks in my official job description. Nothing more, nothing less. 2 months passed. During that time, I ignored every "can you fix the printer" comment, every "can you help the nurse upload this file" request, every small IT favor I'd been doing for years. I wasn't being paid for it, and boss made it clear she didn't want me stepping outside my role. Then one afternoon on my day off, the main office called. Their entire computer system was down. Network, billing, payroll, everything. My site was over an hour away, but I had always been the one to fix their tech problems because, frankly, no one else in the company knew how. My boss called me personally, sounding panicked, and told me to drive to the main office immediately to repair everything. I replied calmly, "I can't do anything outside my listed duties, per your instructions." Then I turned off my phone and went about my day. When I finally turned my phone back on around dinner, I had several missed calls. Within 10 minutes, the company owner called me, and he wasn't polite. He told me to get moving because payroll had to run, and don't I want to get paid tomorrow? He talked to me like I owed him something. I reminded him of the letter his manager handed out. I also pointed out how the company had a strict no firearm policy, yet he always showed up to meetings with a very specific model on his hip. If he could ignore company policy whenever it suited him, why should I follow a rule that directly affected my unpaid labor? I ended the call by telling him the computer failure wasn't part of my job description, but paying his staff on time definitely was. Then I turned off my phone again. By the time I returned to work 2 days later, chaos had taken over. 3 employees had already quit after missing paychecks. 18 more were threatening to do the same. The owner drove out to meet with my boss and me. They tried to claim that my duties had expanded over the years. I countered by pointing out that my pay had not expanded at all, not even once in 5 years. Any IT work I had done was out of goodwill, not obligation. I also reminded them that hiring a real IT company would cost them hundreds for a consult and at least $200 an hour afterward, and their entire system needed rebuilding. They begged me to step in. The owner offered a 50-cent raise and 3 hours of overtime. I nearly laughed. My counteroffer was simple: a public apology from my boss in front of all staff, a $3 per hour raise, a written exemption from the no-carry policy. Since the owner didn't follow it anyway, they refused. So I returned to the client area and continued doing only what my job description required. It took 4 full days of system outages, dozens of calls to outside IT companies, and 8 more employees quitting before they finally agreed to every condition, after trying repeatedly to get me to drop the firearm policy exemption. That was their biggest sticking point. Finally, papers were signed, the apology was given, and everything was official. Then I walked into the computer room, plugged in an old hard drive I had kept because the company refused to pay for backup storage, and restored everything in 8 minutes. Turned out the owner's wife deleted something she should never have had access to. Amazing what happens when people ignore the one person who actually knows what they're doing.